Hey, it's me, Big P, and I wanted to do a quick video going over the character I did for the BPL6 that passed this past week. And just while it's still fresh in my mind before we start doing all the other December events and the videos associated with that, I wanted to go over this. Just to kind of go over the journey. You know, the BPLs are kind of one of the more fun, interesting private leagues, I think, events that happen, and had a really fun time, even though we did come in second place. It was a tough fight. At least my internet didn't explode like it did on the last one. Going for Fireburst Elementalist. I'm going to run a race course map and go over how it went in terms of leveling and just gearing it up in a pseudo SSF environment. Overall, it was pretty easy. Something like Fireburst just has a really nice sort of gear progression where you have a very direct target of going for Controlled Corruption and Amplified. And then pretty much level as whatever you want. I leveled with Armageddon Brand and Wave of Conviction.
I need more mana.
And yeah, Fireburst, if you don't know, is kind of like an auto bomber setup. You set it up so that it procs on the hits of your Storm Brand or your Herald of Thunder for when you're just walking around.
And not before.
While it's going, you really don't need to be stopping and branding each pack because let's see, first it's a very subtle effect on the Fireburst skill itself. That was a bit clunky. It does, unfortunately, we can't keep it on your bar, so you can't see it when it procs, but it does have a cooldown of 1 second. And, you know, we are relying on Ignite Proliferation for coverage, really. What happened there was I kind of just flame dashed on top of a couple stronger monsters. I didn't really, I was running red maps pretty comfortably, but you gotta admit, a part of the defensive layers of this build are the fact that we are able to constantly move while DPSing for both clear and for boss. It's just a good, it's got kind of a lot to be desired for single target. It is slightly nerfed from its former glory. It's pretty good for clearing the Scourge, except when you stop for no reason. Yeah, I think big things that I wanted to solve with this build were things like physical damage reduction. That's why we're running Determination. Promise it was actually a little bit better when I was actually, you know, in the swing of things and, you know, pushing for the team and whatever. Not that I was like one of the main pushers I had in my mind. I wanted to be a bit of a bosser for the team, but it's a little tricky to, you know, I'm not as crazy of a player as some of these guys who play these sorts of events. I mean, we have like some very prolific streamers doing crazy shit. I'm more of a humble, you know, dude who hooks people up with some essences or whatever because I have some extra. And yeah, it was pretty good for Scourge while leveling because and you can just move right through any packs and stuff like that and effectively DPS the entire pack if you get one proc of the Fireburst. I'm keeping this up so you can see how consistently. It is good to get, I mean, I'll show you my links for the Storm brand because it's pretty much utility. You don't even need a 5 link, and you definitely don't need to 6 link the Storm brand, or Fireburst staff rather. Let's put a portal down so this video is not a million years long. It's leaves a lot to be desired in terms of single target. I think Ignite is just, you know, you kind of just run out of relevant things to scale on the tree, so you kind of go for more tanky stuff. And
I need more mana.
You know, you just end up getting like a big life pool. I have 5k life and 7k ES, or rather 700 ES. Me picking stuff up. I have my dull filter on actually, so I probably missed a map, but again, it doesn't really matter. This is, I didn't migrate from the league because I wanted to show the Atlas progress, which was almost got to my first Awakener. Pretty much after I hit 90, we were already losing for like a day and a half, so I kind of just gave up there, but I guess I didn't mention this before, but I'm clearly not in my usual setup. I'm actually, like, if I sound a little different, having construction done on my house, so I'm not in my usual setup, and that was kind of distracting a little bit for the duration of the league, and hopefully that'll be done in a week or two. But anyway, yeah, you just throw a... Do I have any of the essences on me? Or I think I was giving them away. Yeah, it's the essence, this one. I forget what they're called. But that's the fire burst one. You basically just throw it on whatever base you want. If you do the staff ones, you get a lot of cool defensive nodes for staff. Whirling barrier is nice because you can gain power charges, not that they really matter. I chose recover life and energy shield just to go tanky. The tree was just kind of... I pulled from some trees for... This is a mix of two trees, really. I mean, honestly, it's just hitting the fire dot stuff here, here, and here. That's really as good as it gets for scaling damage. I got really lucky and found an anatomical knowledge here, which is like a bunch. Like, how much does it give us? 26 flat and 8% increased. Not bad for a jewel socket. And yeah, you get to take full advantage of the life wheel. Fire dot multi again over here. Divine Shield's been pretty cool. I don't think it's actually really doing that much, but kind of hard to tell sometimes. Sometimes I can really tell. It's like you see your ES like creeping back up. But I probably wouldn't bother unless you have things like Sanctum of Thought and Combat Stamina, and of course our running Determination is a pretty fantastic aura. I actually was running Purity of Elements, I remember, for most of it to cap resistances. I think a lot of SSF builds should do stuff like that. Purity of Elements, taking advantage of it is crazy. And yeah, fire dot multi here is all right. We are elemental overload. I triple checked because I'm kind of paranoid about this sort of stuff. Fire burst is affected by elemental overload. You can't show up on the bar, so you can't see the new elemental overload thingy that shows up when you proc it, but it has been confirmed by a dev in one or two places that it works. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much to talk about. Pretty generic life stuff. I was using Vitality, because besides Malevolence and Herald of Thunder is more utility than damage, really. Just the fact that when you shock something, you constantly zap stuff. I guess that's worth... the order I went was Mastermind of Discord, Shaper of Flames, and Shaper of Storms. Leveling with Wintertide Brand, went into this stuff here. Wintertide Brand, then I swapped to Armageddon Brand, which felt a little bit better, but the build really took off when the Fireburst stuff got crafted, of course, because then you can just run around and not do anything and not really pay attention. Super lazy, super fun. Definitely not the strongest. I didn't finish leveling all my gems. Basically, you run anything that has to do with ailments and damage over time. I'm not super familiar with Ignite builds, so I had a bit of trouble scaling it. Like, for example, I figure Immolate is probably the best one to use, but I saw a lot of builds using flat added lightning damage, which I guess makes sense because with Shaper of Flame, all damage can ignite, but you get 25 more damage with Ignites to inflict for hits with fire as the highest damage type, so I don't know. Shaper of Storms is good to set up the Herald of Thunder auto bomber, because otherwise you don't always shock, and so you won't always have the Herald of Thunderstorm proccing stuff. And then Heart of Destruction is nice for a little bit of extra damage and coverage. It's like one of those weird rotating buffs, but it's you don't really have to think about it so much. You could go for Bastion of Elements if you want to go tankier, which I probably should because I did a couple times in the maps, but I was like minus max res, and I wasn't really used to the playstyle. You kind of do have to be aware of the spread of your Ignite and stuff. I am glancing blows, and I believe I'm block capped. Oh wow, not even close. Maybe that wasn't worth it. I forget, was it going into... I guess you can go into Safeguard? Yeah, because Arcane Guarding is only for... Oh yeah, I mean, no. Enigmatic Breach. What was I gonna go for? I can't even remember. But yeah, the build overall is pretty cool to rush into. As a league starter, I mean, kind of hard to beat something like this. If you don't really plan on doing much bossing and just want something to quickly map with, it's really nice. I'm manually casting Wave of Conviction, and I'm not sure if the combustion is overwritten by the fire burst that we do. Determination, Vitality, cast some damage taken, Molten Shell for big armor. Flame Dash, Second Wind, Increased Duration, Arcane Surge.
I need more mana.
Pretty typical stuff. That's up, I think, all the time. 64 and yeah, that's perfect. So 1 cast equals 1. Level 10 Arcane Surge, not bad. And then your Stormbrand you can fill with whatever utility you want. I used Culling Strike, Life Leech. You can use Inspiration if you're having mana problems, but like mana cost isn't really a thing with this build. And then we're applying Hex Touch with Flammability. You can probably go for an extra curse, maybe a curse on hit ring. To go for, I don't know, LA Weakness and Flammability, or maybe, I'm not really sure what else. I really think just reducing fire res is the most important thing you can do for this build. You'll really notice your Ignite not doing much on mobs that have high fire resistance. My staff really was not that good. Pretty much none of the affixes besides Fire Burst and 20 spell damage were relevant for my damage, and then increased damage over time was kind of whatever. And yeah, all the gear was just like self-found whatever stuff. And yeah, BPL's kind of fun to do experiments with builds like this, see what you can get away with, see what you can push early. And I always like just, you know, like a little community event where it's like, yeah, yo, let me get all your essences. I was the essence guy. I gave a lot of people essences and, you know, stuff like that. It's cool to just be like a little bit of a help. And, you know, gives a little bit of context to the game as a whole, because a lot of times you're just blasting Trade League. I know a lot of people, I certainly was doing a bunch of magic finding and just drooling looking at the high chaos per hour, but, you know, you kind of run out of stuff to do. I mean, I don't know. My hands start to hurt after a while, and I just ask myself, like, why am I playing this so much? Because it is a fun game, but like, there's only so many leagues in a row you can grind out currency. So things like BPL are a fun little distraction. And we're actually at the end of the day 1 of Endless Delve. I'm not going to fully go over the build right now. Here, coming together, I'm doing Cold Blade Vortex. Be the next video probably at the end of this week when it's more complete, but I got a Rhyme Gaze, so maybe I'll just go Vortex. But I'm liking it so far. But either way, this video will come later. I just wanted to kind of do a cap on the Fireburst Elementalist, because I like that build. That's not necessarily the build guide, more of a build diary. And just, yeah, I don't even want to leave the POB, really. I don't think that's necessary. There's a lot of better Fireburst builds that you should use for reference than mine, but yeah, anyway, thanks for watching.
When I'm ready, and
More
not
videos to come.
before.
I'll be playing most of the events in December and probably doing little mini video build diaries, not necessarily full on build guides for them, but
I need more mana.
probably everything except the hardcore race, because I'm just a softcore pleb. So leave a like if you're a softcore Andy too, and I'll see you in the next video.